Hello, my name is Stacey Couch and I'm a spiritual director and shamanic teacher. And I'm here today to talk with you about the gifts in your ancestry and how to access those through some different creative ways. Before I get started on any of this, the first thing that I want to say though is that working with your ancestors requires a lot of being comfortable with mystery. Oftentimes, we're not going to know with 100% accuracy what our ancestors did. Absolutely to the fullest. We're not going to know that. We're only going to get bits and pieces here and there, and sometimes they're going to be backed by scientific, factual, documented evidence in this world of the five senses. And a lot of times we're going to have to go on our hunches, we're going to have to go on stories, we're going to have to go on intuition. We're going to have to go on those things that have to do with the mystery. For every answer we get in our ancestral work, we get 100 questions. And it's so much like the spiritual path in that way, right? The spiritual path is totally about being with mystery and uncertainty. And that's where ancestral work and spiritual work really overlap. All that said, it's so worth it, because when we have those moments of insight, when we have those moments of revelation, when we find out something about one of our ancestors via any means, and it connects in with who we are and the gifts that we have, it can be so uplifting, exciting, invigorating, motivating, all those good things. So that said, I'm going to really remind you to be okay with mystery. That, on top of that, what also we often have to do is, I really encourage you not to wait around until you get some sort of confirmation that this gift is somewhere in your ancestral line. If there's something you're really drawn towards doing, simply do it, and wait and see, if the confirmation comes down the road. One example for me is, a number of years ago when I decided to start my own business, I looked around me and I realized I don't have anyone in my immediate family that I can go to and talk to about how to run my own business. I'm no entrepreneurs, not even in the family I'm married into, actually. And so entrepreneurship felt really foreign and alien to me in my immediate family environment. But I really felt the call to do it. It really felt like a natural fit for me, so I went ahead and did it. I learned by trial by fire. I made friends who are entrepreneurs. I connected with the Small Business Association, on and on. And here I am today. And along the way, when I was doing some looking back at my ancestry and thinking about it in a different way, a lot of my ancestors, like the vast majority of them, were farmers. And I had something I've always known, but it wasn't until I was looking at a census, seeing where one of my ancestors had lived and looking at how many hours they'd worked and, how many children they had, all of those things that show up on a census. And I came across the place where it says employment, and they had answered self. And I went, oh, I have plenty of entrepreneurs in my ancestry. It just had never occurred to me before to see farming as entrepreneurship, because I'm working in an office on a computer. It looks so much different today than it looked then. And farming looks so much different today than it looked then. Most farmers are, running an agribusiness and, working with large corporations. And it's not a small business like you would think, like it was, even 50 years ago or 100 or 200 years ago when my ancestors were farming. Either way, it was a huge epiphany for me. It was like, oh, it is there. It just skipped a generation or two. So, and the other fun thing was too, as I was researching, I found that my great-great-grandfather had started a masonry business and ran it with his couple sons. So another entrepreneur in there too. So that said, you have to get creative. So sometimes you have to take the leap, or a lot of times in life, actually, I should say oftentimes, we have to take the leap and just do whatever our heart calls us to, whatever we're interested in, and then later we get some sort of confirmation, or we make some sort of connection to our ancestry and think and see, oh yeah, this goes back. This is really built into who I am. And then the second piece of that is to get creative in terms of how you look at your ancestors' gifts and how you look at your own. So farming looks different today than it looked 100, 200 years ago. And entrepreneurship looks different today, right? I'm sitting in an office at a computer versus working out in a field. So get creative in terms of how you view what they do. We also know that women were not employed. So we don't know how women spent their time, except for I know that my grandmother, my great-grandmothers, they spent their time not only raising the children, but also working the farm. So they were entrepreneurs as well alongside their husbands, and they just weren't listed as such. They were listed as homemakers in the census, right? So we have to also look at the cultural labeling and systems that people were in. Oh, I'm getting a nice little rain shower in here today. I thought, oh, go outside and film. Here we are. It's raining. Smells wonderful though. So yeah, get creative in terms of looking at the gifts of your ancestors. I found out that just through family stories that my great grandmother, she was into crocheting because somebody mentioned that she had crocheted the altar cloth for the church, and it sounded like it was quite elaborate. That's not something you just pick up overnight. I also heard a story about a piano that she had bought after her parents had passed, and she received some inheritance, and with that money she bought a piano for her children to learn how to play on, and then her grandchildren to learn how to play on. So there's the musical piece. I've always, at different degrees in my life, been involved with music and absolutely with art. She also gardened. Well, I love plants, right? And I know that my grandmother from a different line also gardened. So there's multiple places where that gift of gardening shows up for me. But we have to kind of listen carefully and not dismiss these little small, what seem like insignificant facts that people tell us. If we're looking at where do my gifts come from, that one little piece of information about that altar cloth my great grandmother had sewn, or the little written family story that my dad's cousin gave him about the piano, my great grandma Minnie's piano. That wasn't a story I'd heard anybody tell before, and I had one chance to, get that written piece of paper and hold on to it and really sit and think about it. So you have to pay attention to those small details when you come across them. All right, so some other hints for you is really connecting in with your motherland. So some of you may know where you've come from. You may know what continents you were from. I really want to encourage you to travel there if you can. And I understand as a person with a disability that travel can be challenging and also expensive these days, right? So if that's not an option for you to travel to your motherland or lands, I want to encourage you to read books from there, maybe learn the language from there. Another idea would be to either go to a restaurant that cooks food from there, or get a recipe book and cook your own food from there. Another thing to do would be to watch movies or shows or videos from there. Learn about the culture, see pictures and videos of the land, connect with it from a distance. And then there are those of us that don't always know where we came from, don't know where our motherland is, or don't know every place we've come from. That's okay too. Well, another thing you can do is just follow your intuition on this. If you feel really a strong resonance with a certain part of the world or a certain culture, trust that. Don't question it because you don't have evidence, and you may never have the evidence. Go ahead and trust it and go with it. So that's my tip for you there, is connecting in with the culture of the motherland. So you don't even need to know who the individuals were, their names, or their particular stories. You can connect in with the overall culture. It might be interesting to learn about the history too, because the culture today is not the culture your ancestors was connected to how many years ago, right? Okay. And my last bit of advice for you is to carry the intention with you of connecting with your ancestors. And carry it as an invitation to the universe, to the cosmos, to for it to answer, any and all questions whenever the chance comes up. And then make sure to listen. You can ask your dreams for those of you that have a really active dream life. And if you meditate or do shamanic journeys, that's a whole nother avenue as well too, right? That said, I am offering a 4-month program, 4 months, every other week, starting in August of this year, 2025, on ancestral healing. It's also, it's ancestral healing, and it's really focused on getting in touch with the gifts from your ancestors, because that's healing in and of itself. And so registration's still open. You're welcome to contact me. You can put questions in the comments of this video. You can send me an email at info@wildgratitude.com. I'll also put a link to the course page in the notes of this video as well, so you can hop over and take a look at it. I'm here to chat with you if you want to know more about it. It's I'll teach you how to do a shamanic journey if you don't know how to already, and then we'll go on shamanic journeys into the spirit world to meet with representatives of your genetic lines and learn about your ancestors and the gifts that they've passed down to you. It's super exciting work. You get a lot of information, actually. It's one of the ways to get kind of a flood of information versus the usual trickle that life often supplies for us. So that's where it's a lot of fun, and we get a lot of answers and a lot more questions, and we get a sense of a lot of connection, a lot more connection with our ancestors. So I really hope you're able to join me, and I want to thank you for watching today, and make sure to check out my website at wildgratitude.com. Have a lovely day.